guys, come get hot pot with me at Heidi Lau. This was the unlimited meal deal that they have for $50 a person if you get the premium menu, which we did, and I really enjoyed it. I also have another video of me getting hot pot on my channel, so you can check that out if you want more hot pot content. And also be sure to remember to like and subscribe for more content like this. You'd really be helping me out, and I would be eternally grateful. Comment down below if you've ever been to a hot pot, and if you have, what your favorite food to get at a hot pot is. I think my favorite food would have to be the lamb or maybe a shrimp item. Lamb is my favorite meat probably, so I love it every time we go and get that. Also, comment down below if you haven't ever been to a hot pot and you'd like to give it a try. Are there hot pots available in your area? Where I used to live, there weren't any hot pots, so I only have gotten a hot pot within the last couple of years when I moved to a place that did have hot pots around. If you've never been to a hot pot, you can kind of see how it's a communal experience where you're all just kind of gathered together ordering food. Typically it's done through a tablet like this. They deliver it straight to your table. They also get you your soup bases that you boil everything in order to be able to cook it, and then you just kind of have to wait for all of your food to cook, and during that time you can talk and just kind of have fun with your friends or your family if you're going with them. Also got these fish balls at the hot pot. They were not my favorite. Normally fish balls have a much more mild taste, and I'm not sure if the seasoning was off or what was going on, but it did have a slightly fishy feel, so that was not my favorite. This was the lamb that I was talking about, and that was my favorite. It's so good, especially in the mala broth. The mala broth, by the way, is the one with all of the peppers and the really red looking broth right there. It is a really good numbing spice, so you eat it and your tongue starts to feel kind of numb. It still burns, but it's a good burn. And when you're eating like all of this kind of meat, and it also helps to flavor everything with a really nice spicy flavor, which I really enjoy. We also got a mushroom broth, which is one of my favorites. The mushroom broth is a mild broth that only has a slight mushroomy, kind of an umami flavor, which is also really enjoyable to me. Both of them are kind of like a yin and yang situation, with the mushroom broth being much more flavorful and the mala broth, which is kind of numbing in its flavor profile. If I had to choose only two broths to ever get, I would probably choose this one because one's spicy and one's mild. If you get the tofu, which I would personally recommend getting if you're at a hot pot, you should cook it towards the end because tofu tends to soak up all of the flavors, which is another reason why I really enjoy getting the lamb at hot pots, because the lamb comes with a lot of fat in it, and when you cook it, the fat kind of boils off and into your broth, which in turn actually helps to season your broth even more. These broths are not the most seasoned unless you get like a spicy broth, so every little bit definitely helps, and every little bit helps to add to the flavor profile. I also really love mushrooms in general. I tried enoki mushrooms for the first time fairly recently, just this year, and now every time that I go to a restaurant that has enoki mushrooms, I get them because they are so good. They're like slightly crunchy mushrooms, and they have a very mild flavor, but it's a very much so a texture experience for me. They are really, really good, and I would highly recommend getting them. I also tried the other wood ear mushrooms this time. They were also insanely good. Mushrooms in general are really good to get at hot pots because they also tend to absorb flavor and are also a very mild thing, which helps to cut the heat from the hot pot and the spicy broths if you have them, and also just provide a different kind of texture and flavor while you're eating everything else. Another tip that I would recommend that might be slightly controversial, but I personally do stand by it, is to get the things like potatoes and rice while you're at hot pot, mostly because that actually does help to give you a different kind of mouthfeel as well as a different kind of texture texture, which you might not think is that important when you're eating hot pot, but trust me, it actually is, because while you're eating all of that meat and those veggies and stuff, you just want something that's like kind of comforting, kind of mild, stuff like that. So definitely get the potatoes and definitely get the rice. Getting the rice also helps to give you something to eat with. Like eating all of that meat, I don't think that I could do, but eating the meat with some rice or whatever it might be, even if you get like noodles if you don't like rice, it gives you a different kind of mouthfeel and texture, which is really nice to see. I would also highly recommend getting the sweet buns. I'm not sure if that's a thing at every hot pot or just Heidi Lau, but the sweet buns we got that came with the unlimited meal deal were amazing. They came with a condensed milk, but they were sweet enough on their own that you don't need to dunk them in the condensed milk in order to be able to eat them successfully. They were slightly crunchy on the outside from the sugar and very soft and cloud-like on the inside. They were probably one of my favorite things that I did eat when we were at this hot pot of foods. Definitely get some vegetables along with the different kinds of meats that you get. I know a lot of people don't recommend getting vegetables because it's like a waste of money or whatever, but in my opinion, the veggies provide a really good balance with the more gamey and hard flavors of the meat, which is something that you desperately will need when you're like deep into getting the hot pot and eating everything and you're kind of just like eating way too much meat. That's why I enjoy getting mushrooms, because they have a different texture and a very mild flavor. I also love getting the leafy veggies because they absorb flavor and they're also just really good to eat. Lotus root is another really good flavor and it's very crunchy, so that's also something that I recommend getting. Of course, get a bunch of different tofus because they all taste slightly different, even though they're all just tofu. I've never understood that myself, but I absolutely love tofu, so I always recommend getting it if possible. That is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more content, and also check out that older video. Comment down below if you've watched all the way to this part of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!